Okay, so the next part that we're going to look at, that I've included this with the nuclear reaction lesson because it has to do with isotopes, and that's kind of where we introduce the idea of isotopes, is calculating the average atomic mass. So we know that when you're looking at the periodic table, each element has a unique atomic number, right? So let me just bring this in here. So, for example, okay, so let's, for example, take a look at some elements. So iron has 26 protons, cobalt, 27 protons, right? Manganese, 25 protons. So the number of protons is a unique value for each element. So every atom of that element has exactly the same number of protons. So for example, hydrogen has 1 proton, but if all of a sudden we have 2 protons, it's not hydrogen anymore. It has to be called what it is, which would be an atom of helium. Helium has 2 protons. So the number of protons essentially will tell us what type of element we have. Now, on the periodic table, what's not being accounted for, or it is actually, but you didn't know yet, is the number of isotopes for particular elements. So just to review what an isotope is, it's an atom of the same element that has a different number of neutrons. So for example, I can have carbon 12 or carbon 13. So they're the exact same element, the number of protons is the same, but the only difference is that carbon 13 has 1 additional neutron in comparison to carbon 12. Both of these are considered to be isotopes. So the different isotopes for an element essentially have different mass numbers. But remember, and we covered this in the last lesson, is that when you have a chemical reaction with isotopes, they actually will chemically react in the same way. So if you have a chemical reaction with these 2 carbons, it doesn't matter. It won't change the outcome from your reaction. So, looking at the different types of isotopes, it's important to know that they are not actually evenly distributed in real life. So for example, lithium has 2 isotopes. We have lithium with a mass number of 6 and lithium with a mass number of 7. So just because there's only 2 isotopes of lithium does not mean that all of the world's lithium is either 6 or a 7 split half and half, right? So if I had 100 atoms of lithium, it's not that I would have 50 of them being lithium 7 and 50 of them being lithium 6. Each isotope has its own unique percentage that it naturally exists in. And that's what's called an isotope or isotopic abundance. So for example, I'm just making up some numbers here, but let's say for example, only instead of 50% of lithium 7, maybe 10% exists as lithium 7. So that would mean that the other 90% would have to be the other type of isotope. Do not assume that they are evenly split. So if I have 4 different types of isotopes, that does not mean that that's going to be 25% each, right? 100 divided by 4. So there is naturally occurring percentages, which is important to understand because, for the next point, the average atomic value of all the isotopes for that element is what you will find on the periodic table. So for example, let me bring this periodic table back up. So take a look at cobalt. Cobalt is showing an atomic number of 58.93. Sorry, an atomic mass. So this is actually an average mass. This is an average mass of all the natural isotopes for cobalt, but also considering the percentage that exists in. So notice here, even it reminds you up here that it's an average mass. So you're probably wondering, well, how do we know which one has the biggest percentage? It's actually the one, if you were to round this to a whole number, The whole number value from the average mass is the isotope that is most common for that particular element. So for example, for cobalt, it's 58.93, which is very close to 59. So that means the highest percentage for the cobalt isotope that exists would be 59, right? So same thing if you look at carbon. So carbon exists in different isotopes, but the average is 12.01, which is very close to carbon 12. Carbon 12 is the most commonly seen isotope of carbon. So going back to, let's even look at lithium. Lithium is 6.94. So if you remember, we said lithium exists as a 6 and as a 7. But actually, by looking at this number here for the average, that tells us that the one that has the highest percentage would be lithium 7. So sometimes just by looking at the periodic table, you may get a question like that where it says, your textbook has some of them like that where it asks you, what's the most common occurring isotope for that element? You're simply looking at the average to consider which one it is. So calcium, for example, has an atomic mass of 40.078 atomic mass units. So this is an average for all of calcium's isotopes. But obviously by looking at this, the most common isotope is going to be calcium 40, just by basing the average number. So every element has a different number of isotopes, so that's important to keep in mind. So some have, 2 isotopes. Some elements might have 4 or 5 isotopes. Every element is different, and every isotope for those elements have a different percentage that it exists in. So remember that percentage is considered to be the isotopic or isotope abundance. So let's talk about calculating the average atomic mass. So remember, average atomic mass is the value from the periodic table, right? It's the average of all the isotopes and considering the isotope abundance. So let's look at an example with lithium. So lithium has 2 isotopes. It has lithium 7 and lithium 6. So lithium 7, if you look at the percentage, is 92.58%. So that means if you were to take 100 atoms of lithium, approximately 93 of them would be this mass. Of course, because there's only 2 isotopes, the remainder is going to be lithium 6. So what we're going to do is we're going to use these values to calculate the average atomic mass. So I'm going to use AAM for short. So how you calculate average atomic mass is the same, no matter if you have 2 isotopes or if you have 5 isotopes. What you do is you take your isotope percentage, but this must be in decimal form. Okay, which means we're going to take the percentage, we're going to divide by 100, and you multiply it by the mass for that isotope. Okay, then you do the same thing for the second isotope. You take the percent abundance and you in a decimal form, and you multiply by the mass for that isotope. So each one of these blocks, so this would be for isotope number 1. This would be for isotope number 2 in this case. If we had a third isotope, you would do the same thing. You would add the next block. If we had a 4th one, that means you'd have 2 more isotopes that would be added in. The procedure is exactly the same. So let's take a look. So the first one, so if we take 92.58 divided by 100, we get 0.9258. And we multiply that by the mass for that isotope, which is 7.015. And the short for atomic mass units is a lower u. Plus, we're going to take our second percentage divided by 100, 0.0742. And we're going to multiply that by the mass of our second isotope. And we're going to execute this calculation. So we have 0.9258 times 7.015 plus 0.0742 times 6.015. So we get a value here of 6.9408 for the average atomic mass. Now, when you are reporting this, okay, percentage values are not considered for significant digits. So what you would be looking at here would be these values. So we have 4 significant digits. So here we would be reporting 4 significant digits for our final answer. Now, how you can do a check to see if this is done correctly is actually pretty easy. You look at the periodic table, 6.94. So 6.941, right? So it's just that periodic table happens to only be showing 2 decimal places. So this is our correct average atomic mass. Now, there are 2 practice problems. So what I'd like you to do is actually pause the video. So silicon is composed of 3 natural isotopes. What is the average atomic mass of silicon? Please be sure to show all of your work. So you have 3 different isotopes, and I'd like you to calculate the average atomic mass like we did here with lithium. So pause the video and give this one a try. Okay, so we should get the same value here, 28.09. So you take your percentage, remember it has to be a decimal form, you divide by 100, times the isotope for the first one. Then you add the percentage of the second isotope in a decimal form times the isotope mass for the second, plus the third isotope percentage as a decimal multiplied by the mass of the third one. So really you have 3 sets of calculations for multiplication here, and then you're adding them up. So one thing to keep in mind, the most common mistakes that I see is forgetting to divide by 100 for the percent, or mixing up which percent goes with which mass. So make sure you have the percent and mass matched, okay? So there are also times where you might be missing a percentage. So for example, you might have the weight of everything, but be missing 1% out of all of the isotopes. Remember that all of the isotopes added together should equal 100%. So if you have 2 out of the 3 or 3 out of the 4 and you're missing only 1, you can always solve for that missing one by taking 100 and subtracting the ones that you do know already. Okay, so one more practice problem. This one has 4 isotopes. Pause the video, give this a try, calculate the average atomic mass for lead. Okay, so you should get 207.2 atomic mass units. So again, you're doing the exact same thing, right? So you take your percentage, you divide them by 100, multiply by the appropriate linked mass, and then you add the 4 isotopes together.